After designing the Star Destroyer Avenger, I knew I had to build another Star Destroyer. Wait, not this. This is my Executor Super Star Destroyer. The Executor class Star Dreadnought is a 19-kilometer long vessel most famously seen in the Battle of Endor. During the battle, an A-wing crashed into its bridge, which caused the entire ship to plummet into the second Death Star. It's also the personal flagship of Darth Vader, and here's how the Lego Vader looks on my Executor. The model is in a 1:29,000 scale, and it measures 64.2 cm long, 23.3 cm wide, and 10.9 cm high. I've created a micro Star Destroyer to scale with the Executor. I use these cheese grater slopes to recreate the triangular shape of the Star Destroyer, and there are also 3 glowing engines at the back. It connects to the simple black stand via an open stud on the bottom. Similarly, I also use slopes on the Executor to recreate its iconic sharp dagger shape. These 1x4 slopes are relatively new and quite expensive on Greebling, so I'd suggest getting them from LEGO's Pick-a-Brick service. One thing that I did not manage to include on my Avenger was the trench on the side of the Star Destroyer. By using only tiles for the panels on this model, I was able to create a 1-plate thick layer for Greebling on the side. I used round plates and clips in dark bluish grey, as well as roller skates and transparent light blue pieces to add texture to this area. These are some recurring pieces used for Greebling on the model, which I will show later on in the video. At the back of the main panel, I used this angled assembly to replicate the angle on the real ship. The smaller panels at the end are connected with ball joints and they converge at the end. Underneath these panels, there is a massive engineering section with the 13 engines of the Executor. I've included a ton of Greebling in this area using a variety of pieces such as hinges, tiles, forks, and bars. This section of Greebling is very dense as I could build sideways and mix panels with tiles clipped sideways, creating 2 thin layers to give more texture and depth to the Greebling. Using the filming model from ILM as a reference, I included a sloped section here and also this round vent detail. There were also these angled panels which I built upside down using tiles connected to the main frame. Unfortunately, the transition from panel to Greebling is a bit rough in this area, as I chose to use dark bluish grey for Greebling. I've seen a few models from other creators using light bluish grey for the entire ship, but I thought that dark grey would work better and create more contrast. Moving on to the top of the ship, there's even more Greebling. In this thin section alone, I used about 6 to 7 minifig utensils like these forks, ice skates, and roller skates. I've left out the main Greebling section here because I want to show you guys the way it's put together. We start off by building the tiny bridge and adding the first few sections which prevent the raised panels on the sides from slipping out. I also used a bunch of transparent light blue pieces to represent lights on the ship. The Greebling on the real Executor is quite distinctly separated into long blocks, and I tried to replicate that by using this modified plate to build a central strip of Greebling. I also used bars and ice skates pointing forward to give a sense of direction to the Greebling. Unfortunately, I was very limited by the space, so the blocks aren't very obvious. I still think it looks great, but it's just not the most accurate to the actual ILM model. After receiving some feedback from people who built the Avenger, I improved on the building experience by making it much easier to connect the panels. On this model, you only need to press in a few of these Technic plates instead of having multiple pieces at different angles. I also used ball joints on this model since they're super versatile and easy to position, making it simpler to design and build. Another improvement I made is to the stability of the model. In the Avenger, some sections were completely loose, which made handling an issue. On the Executor, I made sure that every connection was stable and that nothing would fall off. The only flimsy bit would be the tip of the panels, which can move around quite a bit. This is still an improvement from the Avenger though, because I didn't need a rubber band to keep the panels together. By the way, I've released instructions for this model on my Rubricable and also a new platform called OpenStuds. Do check it out if you're interested in building my model. Since I showed the official LEGO Midi-Scale Executor in the beginning, here's how they look like next to each other. The LEGO set is not as big as my model, so it is not as detailed or accurate. I think LEGO did a pretty good job designing this set and I really enjoyed building it. It also has a nice Easter egg inside. I didn't manage to include any scenes on my model since it's just so thin, but I sneaked in a 2x4 pink brick in the structure. This model was honestly really fun to design, and I want to thank my local Greebling shop, Brixit, since I ordered around 800 pieces from them for this project. The parts were really well priced, so I'll link the shop down below for those who are interested. Once again, the instructions for this model and the micro Star Destroyers are on my Rubricable and OpenStuds. Thanks for watching.